Hello, everybody. Will Wade adds another member to his Wolfpack. The reigning champs chomp gets even stronger, and you'll be absolutely shocked. It will probably end up with the ~1 high school recruiting class this cycle. No, you won't. The captain, Mike Holland, joins me to chop all that up, plus a 5-pack of international signings guaranteed to stamp your passport in all the right spots on this long trip known as the college basketball offseason. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. We're powered by the galaxy's greatest website, drroto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Follow me on X at Dr. William Cannon. I'll follow you back. But do yourself a favor while you're over there. Follow this man, Adam C. Holland 34 on X. El Capitan around these parts, the captain of the One and Done ship. He does the ship, I do the train. Follow him at MC Holland 34. The OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do?
What it do, man? It feels weird when we go like 4 or 5 days. It feels like we're gone for like a month, man. But getting to enjoy a little bit of sleep this off season. 1,528 subs, man. I'm hoping we can ratchet this thing up as we continue, like you said, the long off season. So make sure you guys hit those like and subscribe buttons. Working on the final touches of the top 500 transfer portal big board. Less than 10% of the names left on that big board. So probably going to have an update on drroto.com either tomorrow, if not the next day there. And then, just looking at roster construction, we're finally kind of getting a really good idea of what we think these teams are going to look like in the preseason, only for it to be somewhat blown up during the season with just random stuff that happens and injuries and all that good stuff. But man, we put in the work, and just glad to be back here talking some hoops.
Yeah, especially when we're going 3, sometimes 4 times a week during the season, DFS shows and news and notes and all that stuff that we're doing all season long slows down a little bit come May and June, but we'll be rocking it all year round right here on One and Done College Basketball. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons and hop in the live chat like our guy Nate C. Hustle did, the Hall of Famer himself. He's not in studio tonight with us, but he's in the live chat firing up those fire emojis. We appreciate him for that, of course. Nate helped Mike a bunch on that top 500 portal board, a little behind-the-scenes work there. He pushes those buttons for behind the scenes. But not tonight, because it's at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets. Eric the Blue on the ones and twos tonight. Go check him out. All the best fantasy information you can handle over at Fantasy Nav. Check him out for sure. And then while you're at it, at One and Done CBB is where you can follow us on all the different socials. Just anywhere that there's social media, just search at One and Done CBB, and basically we're there. So find it, like it, subscribe it, whatever it is that you need to do to make sure you're doing your part in the One and Done universe. All right, Mike, it's time to get to it. Little news and notes today, because I know everybody's already hit the subscribe button. So let's get to a little bit of news. Will Wade, I mentioned it in the cold open, adding another member to his Wolfpack, striking portal gold, landing prize transfer Darian Williams. Williams just happens to be number two, Rooster Crows cock-a-doodle-doodle-doo. Right there, number 2 player on the transfer portal is Williams. The former Texas Tech wing was an absolute stud last year. 30 minutes per game for the Red Raiders, 15 points, 5.5 boards, 3.6 dimes, and 1.3 steals per game. Mike, Coach Wade and the Wolfpack have quietly become a legitimate threat in the ACC this offseason, to nobody's surprise. At least on this show. We profiled their portal haul a few weeks ago. And what we really liked was that Wade was able to, even before this edition, able to go ahead and think about, look at this, listen to this haul that they already have over there. Trey Holloman from Michigan State, Terrence Arsenault from Houston, Jerry Dang from Florida State, and, of course, his McNeese backcourt duo of Kadir Copeland and Allen Breed. So that was even before we've got Williams here. And we've got Kinley in the live chat, Mike, ready to hear what you've got to say about NC State. So let him know, man. How are you feeling about what Will Wade's doing already in his first offseason before they've even, played a minute?
Yeah, man, you got to like this. So they're definitely going to be able to score the ball, and adding a player like Darian Williams, I mean, chance to be an All-American this year in the ACC. I think for me, man, you look at some of the preseason stuff. We like to look at, Evan Maya, Torvik, Ken Palm obviously isn't out yet. They're a little bit later in the offseason, but Torvik has them as a top 25 offense coming as far as the roster construction right now. And I tend to agree with that. Only 70th in defensive efficiency. So a little worrisome there, but that puts them 41st overall. So, it's still, when you look at the ACC, and we kind of talked about the last couple of years, that seemed kind of down. Last year was actually down. Previous years, it might have been down, but they kept getting teams into the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. But look, good enough for fourth on Torvik right now. And, man, there's a path here for them to be competitive. I'm not going to say they're going to win the ACC title, but they're going to be competitive and be up there near the top. So I think for me, like clear-cut tourney teams, as we sit here about to turn the page to June, Duke, Louisville, UNC should, just based on talent alone, and NC State probably going to be at least the 4 representatives from the ACC right now for the tournament, with the chance to get a 5th, maybe even a 6th, depending on how everyone plays out the year here. But look, not much size, man, at the 5, so that's going to be the problem. But you look at like what Wade did at McNeese, right? That was kind of what he built his brand off of. It was, rim pressure and guard, some creation. Now he's got more shooting on this team. We profiled Jerry Dang as a spot up shooter. Trey Holloman can push the pace here. Terrence Arsenault is going to be a really good 3-and-D type guy for them. And man, I just think that when you look at what he did with McNeese with Christian Shoemate at the 5 for most of the time, and that was an undersized 5-man there. So not going to have really an undersized 5, but not going to have this major defensive presence. Now, Williams, a dynamic playmaker, especially on the offensive end. He's going to be able to stretch the floor for these rim pressuring guards like Kadir Copeland. Sounds like Haggerty is off the board now. PJ Haggerty was linked to them. Looks like Williams jumped in and kind of took that money. And I think it's a much better fit for them because they have the guards, I think, to be able to ring up some numbers. And you put this wing, 4-man and Darian Williams next to them, and it's going to be a really good offense. So, look, we're probably going to fall victim to the preseason hype. That's just what we do, right? Will Wade, look what he did at McNeese. Look what he did at his time before all the stuff at LSU happened. Look at all these guys that he's bringing in. I don't know that I see top 20 type ceiling, Jay. But if they get into the tournament, I wouldn't be shocked if they made the Sweet 16. Like, all he does is win. So this is the best, I would say, talent-wise, top to bottom and fit. It's probably one of his 3 or 4 preseason type teams that he's had in his career, man, on the college.
All right, one-word answer. Does NC State make the tournament next year?
Oh, yeah, I think they do, for sure.
Yes, okay. All right, Very good. We got him in there, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Kinley, thanks for joining us. Obviously, we appreciate you. Make sure you hang around and watch the rest of the show. Peanut Butter Posse is our friend in the chat. Long-time Kentucky, Big Blue Nation, Mr. Peanut Butter Posse, of course, just coming in to rile it up a little bit. But, Kinley, what are your thoughts on what this team is looking like? We know you love Peanut Butter Posse. We know it's all about love here. That's what we do here on One and Done. We spread the love.
He stirs the pot.
We hop in the live chat. Peanut Butter Posse definitely there's a reason that it's called the liveliest live chat in all of college basketball, Mike. And that's it right there. We love our live chat for sure. Kinley, let us know what you think about the haul that Will Wade has brought onto campus for the Wolfpack. We would definitely listen. I think they're a tournament team as well. I'm not going to tell Will Wade that he's not going to win. So what do you know? You win here, you win here, you win here. The dubs pile up, and all of a sudden, you're in the Sweet 16, and then anything can happen. So, that's definitely a team to watch in a conference that might not have the best reputation right now, top to bottom. So, Will Wade, it's anybody's conference, honestly. Will Wade can hop in there right away and make something happen. It'd be fun to see for sure. Thanks, Kinley, for hanging out with us in the live chat. We hope you hang around and watch the rest of the show as well as we move on. Peanut Butter Posse, good to see you there in the chat 2. Y'all hop in there with them, the liveliest live chat in college basketball. Let's move on now, Mike. Hey, remember not so long ago when we were down in San Antonio and watching the old Final Four? We were down there on the Final Four Saturday.
I remember it.
Remember that? You remember?
I remember those
I remember
days.
too. Florida played. I mean, they were the best team that weekend, and they played like it, and it showed, and they got them a title. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like, what have they really done to reload? Or I don't know. Well, guess what? They're not going to blame it on the sunshine. They're not going to blame it on the moonlight. They're not going to blame it on the good times, because they're going to blame it on the boogie. Boogie Fland on campus for the Gators, a future NBA player, and just happens to be number 4 on our transfer portal big board over at drroto.com. Solid year last year despite injury, and coming into the year as one of the premier guards in the country. 13.5 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, and a steal and a half per game last year in 21 games played. Fland's teaming up with Princeton transfer Xavier Lee, who's number 70 on our big board, and Ohio transfer A.J. Brown, number 399, to help get the Gators back, hopefully, for them. They're hoping, I'm sure, and I'm sure Gator Nation is as well, back to the promised land. And some big shoes to fill, obviously. You know, that was a very special backcourt last season with Clayton Richard and Martin. Like, that's no light task to fill those shoes. So let's focus on Boogie here. Mike, are you surprised that he withdrew from the draft after what you saw there with all those workouts? And then how do you see this fit working out with Fland, with Todd Golden, and the Gators?
I would say probably 50-50 for him, man. Just where you're seeing him projected was, you should probably up that stock and be a lottery pick. Especially in this Florida system, right? So I think this is win-win for both sides. And look, like, he's going to take a lot of pressure off Xavier Lee, because the whole talk about it was like, is Lee going to be able to come from Princeton and be the dude, right? I know obviously they're going to have some bigs there, but as far as in the backcourt, so that takes a ton of pressure off of him, especially when you had. We were all shocked when Denzel Aberdeen. We were like, okay, he's ready to kind of just step in and fill in as one of those 3 guys that left this offseason. But he goes to Kentucky. And then we're looking around. We're like, all right, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to put next to Lee? Like, is A.J. Brown really going to be like this like huge factor for them? Then Desmond Claude was linked to them. He kind of fell through, and that fit was kind of weird anyway. But at least he's like a solid option that's played a lot of basketball. And then bam. Next thing you know, you have a portal withdrawal, and now you have a bona fide number 1 option in your backcourt in Boogie Fland, man. So Lee can now move to a secondary ball handler role. Both guys are going to be able to create and get theirs, especially off the bounce, man. They were both in the high 90th percentile in pull-up jumpers. So these are guys that can just absolutely create for you, especially when the shot clock's winding down. And then what gets lost in kind of what Fland does well on offensively is that he's pretty dynamic as a defender, nearly a 2.5 rating. Evan Maya's DBPR there. So a really, really solid defender there. But this move also probably moves A.J. Brown to more of like a floor spacer in the first unit, or like a microwave bench option, which is probably more suitable than him being a key option in the first unit. And then also, I mean, we can't forget Urban Klatcher is going to be in that mix too. He's one of the top international prospects. We're going to talk about some international guys here in just a minute. They're coming into their first year into college basketball, but he looked pretty good in limited spurts. So now all of a sudden you just have a bunch of options. What it does, Jay, is it takes everyone and kind of moves them down the pecking order. Fland takes over that number 1 spot, and you get these guys in more favorable positions. He makes everyone better. Just makes the team as a whole make a lot more sense here and a lot more competitive. And now Florida's going to wait on Alex Condon's NBA decision to see if they're going to be, I was kind of putting together, we're going to do like we'll do a offseason top 25 here. Here pretty soon, at least in the next couple of weeks, once we get these NBA draft decisions. And, before this, I had Florida in like the kind of in the mid-teens, man. With Fland coming in, they're top 10, top 5, right? Condon's really going to solidify a maybe 5, 6, maybe a 4 for them as far as power ranking wise. But yeah, this is now all of a sudden it's funny, one player, man. But yeah, it just changes the whole dynamic of this group here, man.
Mike, we've got Xavier Lee at number 70 on the big board there. You talked about making that move from Princeton to the SEC. I feel like that ranking sort of shows a lot of confidence in him being able to make that move. How much of an impact does having a player like Boogie Fland alongside Xavier Lee allow him to reach his full potential and then therefore allow Florida to just be better on the whole, you know?
Yeah, I think it's great. Number 70, obviously nothing to see that, but usually the guys in the top 15 to 20, those are guys who can carry your program. Like you guys that are 20 to 100, those are great second options. And that's what Lee was. But before this move was, Condon, if he'd come back, play with Lee, he would be probably the number one option, right? But we're talking about in the backcourt. Now, all of a sudden, this creates an entirely new dynamic for this team, man. And Peanut Butter Posse's jumping in here talking about the Aberdeen Flan carousel. As a college player, would you guys rather have a senior Aberdeen or a sophomore in Flan? No, I want the talent. Give me Boogie Flan, what he can do. We already saw it, and he was injured for a good chunk of the season. Now he's going to be. He's already has games under his belt. I mean, you're going to put him next to potentially Condon and Houff. Arkansas had some decent front court players, but nothing like what he's about to play with. And then you put Xavier Lee next to him, just space the floor. This is a good looking group right now. And it's Todd Golden, man. He knows how to take mid-major guys like Lee, like Brown, like he did with Clayton, Richard, and Clayton, Richard, and Elijah Martin. So it's just he knows what he's doing. But yeah, give me the talent, man. Fland is going to be in the NBA draft next in the 2026 NBA draft. So yes, give me that all day.
Yeah, that was my final follow up there. There's no way unless he gets hurt again, and even if he does, there's no way he's probably not in the draft. So gonna try to get the most out of him here and then move on. But I'm with you. I'm taking the talent. We see it all the time how important it is to have that experience in the game now in college. But there's multiple ways to get this done, and having that talented player that, like you said, Mike, that can just overhaul and just change the face of your program. Just give me that all day long. Good stuff there, Peanut Butter Posse. We appreciate you hanging on the live chat. Always, stirring the pot, but also bringing some good questions as well. And we definitely appreciate you for sure. Okay, y'all. Hit those like and subscribe buttons and jump along with us now as we move on to, if you just ask anybody walking down the street, hey, who do you think has the best recruiting class in college basketball? They might not have ever watched college basketball. Not ever, but maybe in the last 10 years. What's the first team that comes to your mind? And they would say Duke. And they would be right, because Duke is back on top now, taking over the number one high school recruiting spot with 2 big commits this week. A week after we profiled their number 3 24/7 composite high school class, they said, nah, not yet, my friends. The Blue Devils picking up commitments from Dame Sarr and Sebastian Watkins. Sarr from Italy, Mike, rated as a 5-star international prospect, 6'7", 190-pound wing. And then Wilkins from New Hampshire, a 2026 reclass, who has ranked a top 50 prospect throughout his time there, 6'8", 215. That is a large man already, and he's reclassifying from the 2026 class. He's already 6'8", 215. So let's take a little bit away from Duke, Mike. Cedric Coward headed off to the NBA draft this week, right? But it's Coach Shire, and there's a ton of talent. And we know that the Blue Devils are going to rely heavily on this incoming recruiting class, plus the roster attention from last year. So obviously this is what Coach Shire is going to do. He's going to continue to get the talent, all the talent that you can get on it, whether it's from the high school ranks or the port or whatever it is. He's going to get the talent on campus and just try to make it happen. So what are your thoughts, Mike, on the impact that both Sarr and Wilkins can have for the Blue Devils next season?
Yeah, you look at Sarr, he's, I think, number 17 on the 24/7 composite. He's projected to be a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. So I played for FC Barcelona this past year, averaged 13.6 boards, 5 assists, and a ridiculous 3 steals. So that's a team that had 9 former NBA players on it, and he's got a 7-foot wingspan. So, like, look, he's a less polished version than Cedric Howard offensively, but he's pretty versatile on that end. And defensively, he is an absolute menace, which is not really what Cedric Howard's known for. So, look, I had my concerns, voiced them when we were talking about, when Howard made his commitment to Duke. I was actually shocked that his aggregate shooting was great. We talked about that already. Teams are falling in love. The mock drafts have him 20 to 25. He has to go. Like, there's no, I talked about the tier A numbers that he put up, and they were just really, really bad because he basically ran it up against mid-majors. But hey, he looked good in workouts, and that he was there with a bunch of NBA scouts, and they obviously know what they're doing. So good on him for obviously being one of the guys that was a riser in the combine. And hey, look, it's never bad when you get a 5-star to replace that. So I think Dame Sarr is going to be an explosive addition for them. Wilkins, he's going the Tyrese Proctor route. Like, we remember when Proctor reclassified, he struggled his first year, couldn't shoot a 3. Then all of a sudden, 3 years later, he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the land. So, look, he's probably not going to have as much of an impact this year. Probably going to have a small role, but John Calipari said this. I forget who was recruiting, but the video was circulating a few years ago, and I forget what recruit he was talking to, but he was sitting there and he's talking about, would you rather get like 30 minutes a game, be the star on a team by yourself, or would you rather practice against NBA talent every single day? So it feels like that's kind of the route. Shire getting him to reclassify. Not going to get a lot of playing time this first year, but hey, looking forward to the next year, right? He's probably going to be a pretty big piece. So kind of fits what Shire's been doing. I think it's a great move for both parties here, man. So we'll kind of see what he's able to do. And look at that frame already, Jay. Defensively, he's going to be able to hold his own. He's just got to improve his shooting.
I mean, if you're able to get this type of talent on campus and keep it there and actually work it a few years in your system, like, this is obviously Shire is looking to not only make it happen through the portal, but he understands, like, it's not just a 1-year process every year, and they're not going to treat it like that. They're going to treat it as a developmental thing still and try to get these players on campus and keep them. And where else would you want to be? Like, I know you might want to play, and if you're not playing minutes at Duke, you might look to transfer out. But honestly, like, it's what a place to learn the game, what a place to refine those skills, and we'll see what Coach Shire can do with these talented freshmen and an extremely talented roster in the ACC. Obviously, Wolfpack, Kinley's back, talking about, who do we have here? Mbaya, the 6'7" wingspan. He was playing some EuroLeague stuff, Mike, recently, and it sounds like he is also being added to the Wolfpack roster. Any quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the potential to be an excellent rim protector for them. But it's just one of those things that, like, he's got to be able to make this transition. Can he play? Like, what's the max minutes that he can play where he's effective? So, yeah, I'm with it. 7'7" wingspan on there. I mean, look, he was a 2022 Basketball Without Borders all-star selection. Will Wade, I'm saying that potentially be one of the best rim protectors and rebounders in all of college basketball. So, look, we don't really know what these international – because, like, Claptrap last year had a lot of he had a lot of buzz around him. Yakashonis had a lot of buzz around him, and look, now he's a lottery pick. So we don't know. I'm with Kinley, though. He's like the one guy where it's like, all right, so kind of going away from Will Wade style, you get this guy in. If he's able to play 20 to 25 minutes, obviously that'll help that defense out. But we haven't really seen it. So we'll have to see him come over, and we'll see how effective he can be. So that would be my only concern there, especially since Will Wade's kind of played a little bit of a small ball 5 over the course of the last couple of years at McNeese. So we'll see. He's a projected starter right now. I just, how many minutes and how effective can he be coming over?
Dude's been out there playing for your guy, Tony Parker's team in the EuroLeague. And it's not like NC State was the only team that had a little interest in him. Syracuse, Washington, Texas Tech, Georgetown, Seton Hall, LSU, Santa Clara, all were sort of rumored to have a little bit of interest in him as well. So, yeah, good stuff. Good shot there, Kinley. Appreciate you hopping back in. Peanut Butter Posse saying they heard a little scuttlebutt about NC State maybe going to Rupp for the ACC SEC Challenge. How about that? That'd be a Will Wade at Rupp. Who wouldn't want that, man? What an environment that would be. You know, that'd be a fun game to watch, Mike. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, good stuff there, Kinley and Peanut Butter Posse. Keep the live chat going, and we hope that everybody else is enjoying what's going on here as well tonight on One and Done. So hit all those buttons, like, subscribe, notification bells. Why not? I mean, these guys right here on your screen talking hoops year round, who wouldn't want to hang out with us, right? So make sure you push all those buttons. As we now, Mike, we've talked about some international signings already today, a little international flavor. Let's hit them with a 5-pack, specifically some top international commits here. You know we love ourselves a 5-pack on One and Done. And this 5-pack focusing internationally, man, the college game just continues to diversify more and more, right? We're not just seeing EuroLeague guys getting drafted, and that's the first time we're hearing some of their names. Like, we're actually seeing more and more of these guys from the international leagues and international countries coming over to, and it's really diversifying the game, and it's great to see. Just obviously, everybody's not the same game. Everybody is. There's talent all over, man, and the college game, especially now that there's money involved, instead of having to go play in the EuroLeague or Serbia, wherever it is that some of these guys are playing, they're like, what do you mean? I can go make $400K in the States and get a degree? Like, okay, yeah, let's go do that instead.
Works.
So, Arizona, St. Mary's, Illinois all come to mind in recent international pipelines. And then, Mike, we talked about Yakashonis earlier. Igor Demin made huge impacts with their programs last year and lottery picks, at least projected wise, in the upcoming draft here as well. So let's get to some names here on the screen, some key international names this offseason. Mihailo Petrovic from Serbia, 22 years old, 6'3", 190 pounds, is committed to Illinois, Mike.
Yeah, man, like this has been a thing for Coach Underwood. He's just doing his thing, going back to the well. He's Tomislav Ivicic, and now he's got his brother coming through the transfer portal. Had Yakashonis last year. Is going to be a lottery pick, and look, he's not your typical international rookie. 22 years old, played on the Serbian national team. Kind of reminds me of like a smaller version of Yakashonis. Like when you watch his film, he's really good in pick and roll, but he's not 6'7". Look, man, he doesn't have a good rate outside shot, but he's really quick. He's going to be really good in transition. Illinois wants to get up and down the floor, and he's got a ton of experience. He's going to be followed up with another guy here, Jay. So who we got here?
Yeah, staying on campus there, David Mirkovic from Montenegro, a little bit younger, 19 years old, 6'9", 250, though, put together really well. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, so, I mean, hey, he's a big boy. He can step out and hit threes. 6'9", 250. Yeah, that's a big body, man. So, look, he's not gonna beat anybody athletically, but he's tough. He's smart, really good passer. During the Adidas Next Generation tournament, he averaged 22 points and 13 rebounds. He can definitely step out and knock it down, and probably going to be able to play that 4 spot. I don't know that you can play both the Ivicic brothers together. That doesn't make a ton of sense. They both kind of play the 5, so they're probably, Tomislav will probably play 25 to 28 minutes, and then you'll see Zvonimir, Big Z jump in for the other 12, maybe a little bit of time at the 4. We'll see how they kind of work that out, but probably not smart if you want to get up and down to play two bigs. But yeah, man, like both of these guys coming in, international flavor, and this is kind of what Illinois has been doing over the last couple of years.
Let's head out to the West Coast now. Washington snagging Hannes Steinbach from Germany, 19 years old, 6'9" and 180. A guard from out overseas. Mike, what are you feeling about Steinbach committing to Washington?
Yeah, man. So for Washington, like I kind of like what Sprinkle's done. Slow start, right? It wasn't the greatest year. We didn't project that. Obviously brought Osabor over, and it really didn't work out because he didn't have a lot around him. So when you look at Steinbach here, he's one of the top European prospects. Played in that top German league last year, 25 games. He averaged 7 points on 68% shooting. Also had 5 rebounds. In the FIBA under 18, he lit it up. He had 15 points per game, almost 13 rebounds. Not as physically ready as kind of the rest of these guys that are on the list, but he plays with a lot of energy. He can get to the rack. He's a pretty good defender. He's got to definitely work on his outside shot, though. So, one of these guys that I think, if you're sleeping on him, you might be able to come in and, make a little bit of noise here as he kind of plays that wing position there. Got you on mute there, Jay.
A couple more here before we get out of here, Mike. Sanandra Frew from Germany committing to Louisville, 6'11", 245. What about the big man and the Cardinals, Mike?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that weight, almost 250. He's 21. So already, NBA body, NBA athleticism, really good around the rim. He can actually handle the rock too. Averaged 12.5 points, 6 boards for Germany's top professional league. So he's got experience in the German national team under 20 championships. He played on that team. So he flirted with entering the draft a couple of years ago, and kind of with the news of with Khalifa needing a waiver for some reason, which that's a whole, we could do 30 minutes on why he needs a waiver and what's wrong with the NCAA, but he might have a clearer path to playing time if that doesn't go through, Jay. So yeah, Frew is he's a big boy, and I expect him to make a little bit more of an impact than probably what people think.
Lastly, here is Johann Grunlow from Germany committing to Virginia, another 6'11" guy. So we had a little bit of that guard flavor in Petrovic and Steinbach, but then Merkovich, Frew, and now Grunlow, all big men here commit. And now Grunlow to Virginia, Mike.
Yeah, so, Kinley was talking about Mbaya, right? And this is probably the same situation with Virginia. So we talked about Virginia's transfer class, and we're like, man, their offense is going to be explosive, but their perimeter defense is going to be pretty suspect. And here's the thing, right? Like, we want to see some rim protection for them. So this is one of the better European rim protectors coming over, and that's going to be a weakness for them. So we'll see what he's able to do, but that's his pedigree as a shot blocker. He averaged nearly 3 blocks in the BCL and nearly 2 blocks in the Bundesliga. And Jay, he shot 35% from 3, so that's pretty good too. So there's some buzz that he's going to be an immediate impact player, and if he is for Virginia, like the ACC, it's funny, man. We have 2 international centers that could really be the difference maker between Virginia and NC State, man. So I know the chat's getting and I see Johnny K jumping in here. Look, we didn't want to do a whole show of international players, but yes, there are a lot of international players coming over, man. It's crazy. It's become bigger and bigger every single year, Jay. So
Janovic averaged 22 points over there in one of the U18 Euro leagues last year, and it's like you can't have everybody. We do
I know, yeah,
Johnny.
Yeah, peanut butter talking about Jelic. It's like, okay, yeah, like that happened last month. I mean, 6'11" power forward, right? Like, he's a really good player. We weren't doing we could have done a whole international show. We're just trying to toss a few of them out there. Doesn't mean we think that these are the best that are out there, but these are the ones that we want to talk about. So I love the chat, man. They just where's my guy?
Yeah. Just put him in there. We'll talk about him. Why not? I don't think there's any relation there. I was looking it up. I don't think there might be, though. Who knows? We'll have to figure that out. But I mean, hilarious. if we just watch him shoot the ball, we'll see. But hey, good stuff there, Mike. Good stuff from the live chat tonight. Good stuff as always. Breaking down. Oh my gosh, it's Duke. Why do we always have to say nice things about Duke all the time? It's just continue. Let's focus on Will Wade and the Wolfpack. Love that one. Love what he's doing over there. I love that our guy or gal Kinley has hopped in with us. So good to see Kinley in there talking NC State with us today. Good to get their opinion for sure. Good to get Peanut Butter Posse in the live chat always. Johnny K hopping in late as well. Good to see everybody. Good to see our guy, the Hall of Famer CC Hustle too, with the fire emojis early on, and he's down at the Texas coast. Out there, we don't, is it really a beach down there, Mike? Let's not get Mike started on the Texas beaches because we don't have enough time for that. That's a whole other show on its own. But yeah, good stuff there. Johnny K dropping his feelings on Duke in the live chat, and that's quite all right, Johnny. We definitely appreciate you for sure. Mike, let's see if we can get together a little, sooner next time. Who knows? We'll just depend on what's cooking. But we know that if everybody hits those notification bells, man, that they'll be able to catch us whenever we go live. And they, who wants to miss a minute of the finest college basketball program on YouTube with an ampersand in the name? I don't know, but if I was you, I wouldn't want to miss it. So make sure you push all those buttons. Follow at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets, pushing those buttons tonight. Eric the Blue, we appreciate him. At MC Holland 34 on X, the captain of the one and done ship. Follow him over there. Do yourself a favor. And make sure you're following everything we're doing over at drroto.com as well. Mike's top 500 transfer portal big board.
Apparently did a top 100 international big board, so we don't.
Apparently, we might have to start that up. Might have to start at the top international board.
You know who's better than all those guys, Jay? Is Texas's English transfer, Luis Obrioja. Just kidding.
I was going to say, do you want to
No,
go 3 minutes on email or what? No, okay.
No,
right, that's good. I'm glad you don't. Okay, very good. Okay, let's close it out then. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you push all those buttons. Good to see the new people in the chat. Good to see the old people in the chat. And it's good to see you with us right now. So push all those buttons. Hop in the comment section if you're watching later. And tell somebody you love them. Take care of yourself. We're never too far away. So one and done college basketball is the place to be. We appreciate you. We love you. And my name is JayHeinrich. Come again. We'll see you. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.